Men ain't, pardon my language on this Tuesday afternoon, you guys. It's just that is the collective feminist shriek, and I'd like to explore that. Is it true? Is there some validity to that statement? That's what feminists are telling us all around the world, and one such feminist is Ariana Grande, who I'd like to talk about today. Plus, obviously, we need to get to the non-conclusion of the Carlee Russell story. I was in Bucharest, Romania. I should have been on the story. I'm sorry, guys. I've let you down, but we're going to talk about it today. All that and more coming up on Candace Owens. So yeah, I'm sorry, pardon my language, but men ain't. If you went to a college university, you spent some time in high school, you walked away with this lesson as a young female. And especially in the era of celebrities, that seems to be them locking hands, Hollywood, the cultural messaging. We got Taylor Swift and her girl squad, right? Oh, girls, we must stick with one another. Never mind her sloppy history with a lot of men. Obviously, it must be those guys' faults, right? Obviously, look at those men. She's perfect. She's amazing. It's because men are crap. They don't know how to deal with a woman with that much power and power. Don't ever look past the narrative that is being force-fed to us. And she's not the only one, by the way. I'm not just picking on Taylor Swift. There's Beyonce. She's had moments talking about feminism. Ariana Grande. Yeah, that's a pretty big name, and she's been in the news recently, and I'd like to talk about her. So Ariana Grande, in case you missed it, is a feminist. She is a feminist like her grandmother and her mother were before her. How feminist am I talking? Well, she wrote a song called God is a Woman. Yeah, God is a woman. That is true. We might all be in trouble. I'm going to tell you why. She also attended the infamous Women's March of 2017. Who could forget the Women's March? They had the P-word hats. There were more than 4 million ladies taking to the streets, and they breathed new life into an already very powerful movement of women taking back their voices and fighting the patriarchy. Patriarchy, it's everywhere. Men are controlling us, obviously, says the matriarchy that we actually exist under. So yeah, Ariana Grande attended that march with her mother and her grandmother, 3 generations of strong lady feminists. According to globalcitizen.org, Ariana Grande, quote, has been on the front lines of the fight against the patriarchy for years, and her contributions to feminism have largely flown under the radar. In an era of scandals and feuds, Grande has consistently preached solidarity and girl power above everything else. She's been leading the way with her big voice, whether that's standing up to blatant sexism directed at her, or supporting a fellow artist who's dealing with the fallout of a highly publicized sexual violence case. Now, that's amazing. Ariana Grande sounds absolutely like an amazing person. And you can see that even in the quotes that she gives out in public. She once said that, quote, the incredible double standards that we women face on a daily basis in the industry and just in the world, it's shocking. It is shocking, Ariana. She also said, quote, I'm going to be the lady that my mother raised and carry myself with class and dignity, but I will never be any man's press opportunity. You go, girl. She said that in regards to an ex that went on a YouTube rant against her, and he called her a cheater. And that's weird because the idea that she is a serial cheater or the idea that she gets involved in other people's relationships have been rumors that have plagued her over the year. I guess most notoriously, there was Naya Rivera. You might remember her. She was a Glee actress. She unfortunately passed, sadly, a few years ago. But before she passed, she did write a book, and she was once engaged to a rap artist named Big Sean. And toward the end of their relationship, she said that she walked into Big Sean's house when he wasn't answering her phone calls, and he found him sitting on a couch next to Ariana Grande. Now, we can't speculate as to whether or not him and Ariana Grande actually hooked up while he was engaged to Naya Rivera, but I can tell you that after her engagement fell apart, Big Sean and Ariana Grande did get together and begin a very highly publicized relationship. Well, recently, Ariana Grande has been in the press yet again for a similar scenario. And this time it is regarding a young man named Ethan Slater and his wife, Lily J. Now, who is Ethan Slater? Well, Ethan Slater, among other things, plays SpongeBob in the Broadway musical If you'd like to go see him, he did that in the past. And he was recently cast alongside Ariana Grande in a film remake of the Wicked musical. Now, why is Ethan Slater and his wife, Lily J, making the rounds in the press? Well, Lily J and Ethan Slater, just for historical reference, were high school sweethearts, and they got married in 2018. Altogether, they have been together for 10 years, and they recently celebrated that 10-year anniversary. Very sweet. Well, Lily J also gave birth to their first child in August of last year. In fact, on Mother's Day of this year, that was on May 14th, he shared this onto social media. He wrote, "Happy first Mother's Day to the most loving, caring, and wonderful mom and person in the world. From me and this little guy." And it was a really sweet picture. All you can see is an infant's hand. So you can imagine how sweet their relationship looks. You can see in photos, they seem to love each other very much. You don't often see a relationship that lasts beyond high school, and these two look like they were having the time of their lives, at least earlier this year, that is, when he said that she was a wonderful mother. But then something happened, clearly on the set of Wicked. Now, to be clear, Ariana Grande is married, or was married. She recently filed for divorce from a man named Dalton Gomez. Prior to, she had a broken engagement with Pete Davidson. She's had many relationships that have failed, but I don't think Lily J could have possibly seen this one coming, because according to Lily J, who was speaking out in the press, Ariana Grande, while they were filming this Wicked film, would come by and hang out with her and Ethan's infant. So you can imagine as a mother, allowing a woman who you are thinking is just a person that is starring alongside your husband in a film. Her husband plays a munchkin. Ariana Grande plays Glinda, the witch, the good witch, which is quite ironic because I think she just might be a witch. And you're allowing her to hold your infant as you are postpartum, right? If she gave birth in August of last year and she is going through what I call the next phase of pregnancy. And especially when it's your first child, I really would like to illustrate how much a woman goes through. There are so many changes. You are dealing with your body changing. You are dealing with breastfeeding. There is never a time where I believe that you need a strong partner more than after you give birth to your first child. You don't know what you're doing, right? You're having your first child. You don't know how you're supposed to feed them. If they've got gas, you're calling your parents, you're asking other mothers for advice. It is an incredibly insecure time in a mother's life. And again, as you're trying to deal with the upkeep of breastfeeding, I don't know if she did breastfeed, but as you're trying to deal with the body changes that come no matter what with breastfeeding, you then have to deal with postpartum hair loss, the insecurity of your body going from 9 months pregnant to slowly losing weight. Are you losing enough weight? Are you eating enough throughout the day to support the breastfeeding that you're doing? It is really a manic time in a woman's life, right? And of course, the adjustment to not sleeping. You have to feed an infant, every 3 hours. So that infant needs their father, but you also need that infant's father. You are relying on your partner. So you imagine Lily J is dealing with all of this, but she's still making the time to meet Ethan's co-star in this film, and she's allowing this co-star to hang out with their infant child, to hold their infant child, only to discover that for whatever reason, her husband no longer wants to be together. Yeah, earlier this year, right, he came to her and he said that he wanted a divorce. Could you imagine that? Clearly, their relationship had to be on stable footing if they decided to bring a child into this world. Yet suddenly he says that she wants a divorce, and she says, according to her, in the press at least, that she was completely shell-shocked by this. What could possibly be going on? Well, 2 days before news broke worldwide, he sat her down and he told her the truth. He told her that he was in a relationship with Ariana Grande, the person that she had allowed to hold her infant child as she was going through a phase of postpartum, was actually beginning a relationship herself with the actor. So that is Ariana Grande and the timeline between their relationship. This is Ariana Grande, who believes God is a woman, who says that we need feminism. Why would Ariana Grande do this to any woman? It's so despicable. It's so disgusting. And it reeks of all of the reasons why I say that we should not follow Hollywood. We should not follow trends. And you better wake up to the fact that feminism is a lie. And the women that tend to experiment the hardest with feminism, who love the word I'm a feminist, who love to preach to you about girl power, always have deep-seated issues. And for a lot of these women, first time I heard this about Ariana Grande, first time I heard the story, I said, she obviously has daddy issues. It's abundantly clear that Ariana Grande has daddy issues. She likes to pursue men that are in stable relationships, and she likes to rip those relationships apart, which signals to me that obviously there is something that is plaguing her from her childhood. Women, or to-be women, rather, young girls need strong father figures, or else they become a disaster in society. So yes, it turns out, I did a little prodding, that her father divorced her mother when she was just 8 years old, and then he left the family home. In her 2018 hit, Thank You Next, she sings a line that's, quote, "One day I'll walk down the aisle holding hands with my mama. I'll be thanking my dad because she grew from the drama." She also said once in an interview that, quote, "So much of me comes from my father, and for so long I didn't like that about myself. I had to accept that it's okay not to get along with somebody and to still love them." Now, her relationship with her father has been sporadic. She's said that they have gone periods without speaking to each other. I believe now he might be back in her life, but there is no question that she is broken from these earlier father issues. And what happens when people are hurt? They hurt other people. Now, of course, Ariana Grande is not going to stay with this man. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm not just attacking her. It's very clear that this man is at fault. It's obvious. Look at him. He's a dweeb, okay? This is the first time that a girl that he thinks is way above, he's boxing way above his weight class here. Oh my God, Ariana Grande, she's looking at me. And he has completely lost his mind because he's a weak man aside from being a dweeb. He's an incredibly weak man. And he allowed one girl to take a glance at him and he ruined his entire life. And not just his life, he's ruining the life of his child, his first child, as well as the life of a woman who has loved him for the last 10 years. So yeah, he is a dweeb and he is a loser. And because he is a weak man, he will of course not be able to keep Ariana Grande. Don't even think about it. These two are not going to skip off into the sunset. That's not what she does. Ariana Grande is a viper, right? The sports for her, the high for her is breaking up the relationship. She's not going to stay with him because he's already committed to divorcing his wife. So the game is over for her. She's a fake feminist. She likes feminism because feminism is a plaything for broken women, women that feel failed by men in some capacity and want to seek revenge. They are the ones that tell you that men ain't. When in reality, what we are facing today is a crisis of too many women that are acting like and Ariana Grande is among them. And that's all I have to say about that. Living a healthy lifestyle can be challenging when you're always on the go. You need simple, manageable routines to make sure that you're getting the proper nutrition every single day, which is why I'm a huge fan of Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies are a great way to make sure that you're getting essential nutritional ingredients every single day. Through Balance of Nature's advanced cold vacuum process, the vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients of the fruits and vegetables are preserved so that you can get that vital nutrition in each capsule. Balance of Nature is a whole food supplement with no additives, fillers, extracts, synthetics, pesticides, or added sugar. The only thing that's in their capsules is pure fruits and vegetables. They sent a bunch of fruit and veggie capsules to the studio for my team and I to try, and the whole team is now feeling brighter, healthier, and more energetic. When you're disciplined enough to take care of your health, you will reap all kinds of benefits. Make Balance of Nature fruits and veggies a part of your daily diet. Your body will thank you. For a limited time this summer, when you become a preferred customer at Balance of Nature, they're throwing in a free fruit and veggies travel set and giving an additional $25 off your first order. So go to balanceofnature.com and use promo code Candace for a free travel set and $25 off your first order as a preferred customer. That's balanceofnature.com, promo code Candace. Okay, now it's time for some topics du jour. I was squealing in Bucharest, Romania, when news broke, and I realized that I was not here to film an episode, that Carlee Russell, the story fell apart even further, and she finally admitted that the entire thing was made up, which obviously, if you have been watching this show, I am a Nancy Grace of the Carlee Russell story. We have been hounding this narrative. We knew that it was fictitious at the very moment that she showed up at her parents' doorstep with $107 in her sock and a busted lip. Who dropped her off? We don't know. So let's first cut to the press conference. The Hoover Police Department press conference, which revealed to us that, yes, in fact, it was all a grand hoax. Take a listen.
There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers.
Now, to be clear, you are hearing from the police chief, the Hoover Police Department chief there, and he is reading a statement that came from Carlee Russell's lawyers. And I just want to say that police chief is the sharpest dressed police chief possibly in the history of America. He deserves a daytime Emmy. I mean, look at the suits that he has been wearing. I just don't want that to be missed in all of this. There's a lot of craziness going on. But that man in his suits, unbelievably sharp. By the way, he should probably win a fashion award. Look at what he wore at the previous press conference, just to show you. Remember, he stepped out in that magenta suit? Take a look at him. He looks wonderful. Unbelievable. I love this guy. He is a hero. But back to Carlee Russell. Now, the thing that left me on the floor as I was in Bucharest, Romania, in a hotel room, was her mugshot. Her mugshot. Carlee Russell made the decision to grin in her mugshot. She came done up for her mugshot and feeling in the mental state to smile. So let's just take a look at her mugshot right here. Unbelievable. She looks unbelievably happy. And I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a legal strategy. I am thinking maybe her lawyer is saying to her, we might be able to plead temporary insanity from your bad breakup. You were so upset. The rumors are that her boyfriend cheated on her with the stripper. She indicated thus in previous tweets. And they had some DMs between her and the stripper where Carlee Russell was telling the stripper that she was poor, calling the stripper poor and saying, I'm rich, I'm pretty, you're ugly. You know, Carlee Russell really went at the stripper. So maybe she was so in love with this guy that it caused temporary insanity and she decided to stage her own abduction and snatch her own wig. And maybe her lawyer is consulting her and saying, you know what, just go ahead and smile. Just smile in the mugshot because then we're going to be able to show how insane you are, because what person in their right mind would smile in the mugshot after so many police forces? The FBI got involved in this. The Secret Service got involved in this. Your parents, your ex-boyfriend, your entire community got involved in this, as did the entire nation. We were all being reprimanded. You talk about this story or you are condemned and you are a racist. What person, what self-respecting individual, what morally sound individual would then choose to step in for their mugshot and to smile as if to signal that they do not care at all? Ha ha, I just want to make sure it's a good picture. You would say an insane person. So I'm thinking that might be her strategy. Now, for those of you who are thinking that she should have been hit with harder charges, yes, they got her with 2 misdemeanors for lying to police because she lied to the police about the toddler, and then she gave them that ridiculous story about the person with red hair in the forest that took her with some woman. You are wrong. What's going to happen here? I always said from the beginning that it was going to be light charges against her because all she actually did was lie to the local police, and she only gave one concrete, I guess you could say the 911 call was the most concrete statement, and they were giving her time to come down and take an official statement from her regarding the man that lived in the forest. So I knew that they were not going to get her. People are comparing this to Sherry Papini or Sherry Papino, whatever her name was, who got abducted, and they're saying, why did she get federal charges? Well, because Sherry Papini actually lied to federal officers. So it's instantly a federal charge when you lie to a federal officer. She did not do this. She just lied to her local police, and then she refused to come in and make a formal statement lying to them. So she's going to get away with this. That's the truth. You have to accept that. It's ridiculous. It's a national hoax. Aside from being a national hoax, it's also a race hoax. If the shoe was on the other foot, and there have been instances of this, but if a white woman faked her own abduction and then said a big black man in the forest did this to me, and he played with my hair and fed me Cheez-Its or cheese on crackers, there would be so much outrage. there would be marches in the street. You would just be hearing from Black Lives Matter for days to come about why did she, when she created this in her head, why did she create a black person? Because they want people to think that black people are all criminals. Well, in this scenario, she specifically wanted to paint a picture of a white man. That's the only reason why she said he had orange hair. I mean, I don't know many black people that have orange hair. And yet there's no outrage there because obviously when black people do the same things that white people do, it's totally permissible. But if a white person does it, it's totally racism and we should all be taken to the streets. Now, the reason why I'm saying that this is a non-conclusion to this case is because I cannot sleep, I cannot eat, I cannot rest until I know what the heck this young woman was doing for the 49 hours that she was missing. We don't know. There's no answer here. I need answers. I can't sleep. You need answers. We all need answers. I promise you we will find these answers. 49 hours. So what we know is that this girl, who's obviously a brat, got out of her Mercedes, snatched her own wig, threw it on the floor, left her purse, left her wallet. And somebody on Twitter showed that there is actually a little tunnel underpass right where she got off, which is where she probably escaped under. But where was she for 9 hours? I'm not going to accept that all she had was Slim Jim's, Cheez-Its, and a bathrobe that she stole from work, and she just stayed in the forest. I don't buy that at all. I think she was with somebody, and she's trying to run cover for them, which is why her lawyer made the statement that there was nobody else involved. I think there very much was somebody else involved. And then the bigger question is who dropped her off at her mom's house, because we know that she didn't walk all that distance from that highway to her mother's house. Carlee Ross does not look particularly athletic to me. I think that somebody picked her up, was with her for that 4-hour period, and somebody dropped her off. And they should do the police work and determine who exactly that person was. Now, are there going to be charges pressed against that person? No. But there are people like me who cannot let this go. And so we need to understand exactly what happened so that we can close this case finally. Signing off, Nancy Grace, Candace Owens. All right, guys, moving on to this next story. I couldn't believe this when I saw this. I just want to sigh at first because women really upset me in this day and age. They really do upset me because they do things that just don't need to be done. Well, there is an OnlyFans model that should tell you exactly where this story is headed. It's going to be sexual and it's going to feature debauchery. She is being slammed for wearing an extremely revealing outfit to the movies. Now, what do you wear to the movies? I think a lot of people probably wear yoga pants and sweatpants, something comfortable, I would imagine, because you're just going to eat popcorn and watch a movie. And there is absolutely no reason that any individual should go to a movie theater dressed like this. There she is. That is her full left ass cheek. Somebody just recorded her. She looks like she's getting some popcorn at the stand, acting like this is totally normal, that she's dressed like Nefertiti, an Egyptian princess that's about to fight. She's just saying this is totally normal. And why is this inappropriate? Well, because there are children. There are usually a ton of children that go to the theater. It looks like it's daytime, so you'll definitely expect children to be at a matinee theater. And here she is acting like this is completely normal. This is just what she wears, because why would she put on clothes? She's an OnlyFans model. God forbid, who knows? There might be a way for her to make money being sexual, dressed like a prostitute at the theater. So yes, there has been predictable outrage against this, and there should be outrage against this because this sort of behavior, overt sexual behavior that we're seeing all around society, is exposing children. That's the point. Like this should not be allowed. We need to have laws for public decency. It's ridiculous that we have to even say, let's have laws for public decency. Why don't people just within them find the power to be decent in public? Why do we have to say, are we really going to have to say, let's drum up some congressional laws. Let's drum up some state laws that say that you can't go naked, half naked to the movie theater. What has happened to our society that even needs to be said on a show, that she even needs to be critiqued? What was going through her mind when she decided to wear this to the theater? To impress a guy? Would guys be impressed by that? Even if you are a total slime ball and you're a guy that really just sits in your room all the time and watches pornography, and you get this hot date with an OnlyFans model, are you really excited when she comes to the theater dressed like that? Or are you actually embarrassed because within you go, you know what, actually, this is a little bit indecent? That's a question. I want you to answer me. If you're a slime ball, I want you to answer me in the comments and tell me whether or not you would be embarrassed by this woman. Because I think every person, even slime balls, would be embarrassed by a person being dressed like that and feel uncomfortable to see a young woman exposing herself to children. Because that's exactly what she's doing, and it shouldn't be allowed. The Bible is the root of wisdom, inspiration, and spiritual nourishment. The Hallow app empowers you to explore the Bible's profound teachings and effortlessly incorporate them into your daily life. A great place to start while you deepen your understanding of the Bible is to check out Father Mike Schmitz's Bible in a Year, available on the Hallow app for brief daily readings and reflections. Here you can dive into an extensive library of Bible reading plans accompanied by insightful reflections and audio-guided meditations. Whether you're a seasoned Bible reader or just starting your journey, Hallow provides a platform for you to engage with Scripture like never before. Studying the Bible's literary brilliance has influenced countless writers, poets, and artists throughout history. By studying the Bible, you'll gain a deeper appreciation for the power of storytelling, symbolism, and metaphor, enriching your understanding of literature across different genres. The Hallow app also helps you connect with a community of like-minded individuals sharing experiences, insights, and encouragement along the path to spiritual growth. So download the app for free at hallow.com/Candace for 3 months free. That's hallow.com/Candace. All right, guys, let's get into some of your comments from episodes past. First set of comments are regarding LeBron James. We covered him yesterday, his failure of a school. Yes, Black America was angry at me for telling them that water was going to be wet. And then they found out the water actually is wet, and saying that you shouldn't focus on books in school and you're just going to give high fives and hugs obviously isn't going to pan out well. You're not going to produce successful rigorously academic children. So his school is failing. And Natalie writes, at least he opened a school for kids that's trying to help them. At least give him that. That was all brains, even if he's not smart himself. Candace acting like she's happy this happened to these kids. She's trying to prove how dumb he is. She looks so happy. He tried to help by opening the school. If anything, the teachers suck or the kids don't want to learn, or maybe it's hard for them to learn. You have to remember where they come from. Let's say if they all ace the math test, would she have even mentioned it? I doubt it. So this is what always happens when people are proven right, that the people that basically said, oh, no, you're going to be wrong, Candace, then pivot their argument. So first it's, you're going to be wrong, Candace, the school's going to be successful. Now she's saying, well, at least he opened a school for kids. No, it's not at least he opened a school for kids. If you are going to go through that action and go on the press tour to make everybody know that you're doing this because you want a pat on your back, which is what he wanted, then you should do the due diligence to make sure that these children are successful. It is painfully stupid to say that we are going to focus on hugs and high fives and not books. That is dumb, okay? Somebody should have stopped him in his track. Maybe if there was enough uproar and more people from the Black community said, hey, man, no, focus on the books, because all across the inner city communities, we can't find Black children that can read or write. We need them to read and write to be successful because such a small percentage of them, virtually 0% of them, are going to go on to the NBA. That's what should have happened. No, but instead you're outraged at me, and you're still outraged at me, even though I have been proven correct. And no, I am not happy that these children are failing at all. Why would I be happy that children are failing? I've used my entire career to speak out against Black children failing. What I am happy is to be vindicated, right? Because I am constantly being yelled at for trying to preach common sense. And you're a very good example of someone who is still yelling at me for preaching common sense. Blah, blah, blue writes, I like that handle, blah, blah, blue. I definitely do not agree with LeBron on most things, but I do believe his heart is in the right place. He's trying to help others and give people a better opportunity at a good life, which is more than 99% of the population does, even at our own income levels. I know he can say some hateful stuff, but I don't think you should stoop to his level. Imagine a world where you reached out to him and offered support or advice to better the school and the lives of the students. That would be beautiful and would change the minds and hearts of so many in a good way, all while bringing people together. Instead, the endless negativity continues to feed the evil machine that is destroying the world. LeBron James, as I said yesterday, is all brawn and no brain. He has no interest in thinking. He doesn't. I'm sorry. And I hate to tell you that. I've said this from the very beginning. LeBron James he believes everything the mainstream media tells him. He's not capable of critical thinking. So yes, there are people that you can lock arms with, and there are tons of athletes that I can lock arms with. He is never going to be one of them. He does not process thoughts in the same way that most people process thoughts. And yes, as I said yesterday, his heart was definitely in the right place. But you shouldn't open a school with your heart. You should open it with your brain if you want to help. So I'm going to stand by that. Min Universe writes, to be fair, as an Akron, Ohio resident, I can confirm that every school in this city that is not a paid private school is failing. It's definitely a bigger issue going on. The city itself is an overall failure outside of Akron University. And it is the reason why I homeschool and also why I'll be leaving within 3 years. Failure absolutely pushes growth and change if you have the right mindset, guidance, and resilience. There are few that I have witnessed. The saddest part is there are many who have never left this city before. They have no idea of the grand opportunities awaiting them. I am very determined for my children to experience otherwise. Yes, I believe you very much that every inner city schools is failing. And it is because the Department of Education is systematically failing students. I wrote a book on this, especially Black students, and they do this by focusing on race issues and emotions and not on actual literature. You know, they don't want them to be guided academically whatsoever. And so instead, they have these schools that are teaching them about Black Lives Matter, and LeBron James has become the face of this. Oh, look, even LeBron, he's taking a knee, he's not standing up to the flag, and these kids are invested in stupidity. Yes, it is very intentional, which is why private schools who sit outside of the public school domain, as well as home schools, produce smarter and wiser kids. So no disagreement from me there. Couple of final comments, this time regarding the Andrew Tate interview and why I did it. Magnolia writes, my grandmother raised me and was very, very conservative, but one thing I have always appreciated about her was that she had lots and lots of friends who were all over the spectrum when it came to their political, social, and religious beliefs. She'd have open debates with her friends over dinner or card games while I listened intently. She talked to me all the time about politics and why we hold our conservative opinions. And she always said that talking to people that you disagree with an open mind helps you better understand your own opinions and helps you understand where other people were coming from. I'm so glad that she did that. It has given me such valuable skills of being able to be around and have meaningful conversations with so many different kinds of people, and helped both me and those other people find the things that we have in common and have more respect for each other on the things that we differ on. I appreciated your conversation with Andrew Tate. I felt like a lot of things that he said were true as it relates to men, and I can understand why so many men follow him. I still disagree with him on some things, but that's bound to be the case since I'm a Christian for one and a woman. I'm just going to see some things differently. That's okay. No one's going to agree on everything. That said, I left your interview feeling like I had a much better understanding of who he is and an appreciation for the fact that you both took the time to have a candid conversation about some taboo topics. That is a perfect place to end today's episode. Positive note of us just speaking to each other and trying to understand one another and trying to understand, as I said yesterday, why it is that somebody like Andrew Tate is able to amass a following of tens of millions of young men and adult men that listen to him. And what is it that he is speaking to? What is it that they are hearing? All right, guys, as a reminder, A Shot in the Dark is available on Daily Wire Plus. You can subscribe to that now by clicking the link in the description. And be sure to come back tomorrow because, as usual, there will be a brand new episode. I'll see you guys then.